Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here at the campus of Forest Hills Northern. Gorgeous, gorgeous day. Game time temperature 57 degrees as Pioneer taking on a very, very tough Forest Hills United team. They are 5-1, coming off a huge win versus versus Rockford. That was a 13-5 win. So I don't have all of their wins here, but they beat East Grand Rapids, and they won versus East Grand Rapids 14-7. So Pioneer, we just played them and struggled a bit, and they beat Cransbrook Kingswood 9-6. So very, very tough Husky team that Pioneer gets to face off. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse is live and on the air. So again, a gorgeous sun splash day here on the west side of the state of Michigan. Not a bad morning commute out this way. Just hit a little traffic, but not too bad. If you're on your way in the car, just watch a little bit of construction right around 6. But otherwise, it should be fine. So beautiful day for a drive out over on this side of the state. Couldn't ask for much more for a lovely day of lacrosse. We have about 11 minutes and counting down to the start of the game. Let's take a little bit of a look at Pioneer and how things have gone. 1-7 at this point, coming off of a loss over at Northville. That was a 15-3 win by Northville. The game versus Tecumseh was canceled. East Grand Rapids came into Hallway Field and just took it end to end. That was a 25-2 win by East Grand Rapids. Pioneer was coming off of a tough game versus DeWitt the game before, too. That was 16-7. Pioneer hung in with them throughout the first half, and then DeWitt started to pull away. They lost to a tight game to Skyline. Skyline won 15-14. Pioneer's lone win came versus Grosse Pointe South. That is a 13-7 win, but Cranbrook beat them 19-4. Bloomfield Hills 16-4, and Perrysburg starting off the season 16-3. So the team continues to play hard. They might not be seeing the results they want on the scoreboard, but they continue to battle, continue to play hard. Right now, Neil's out there working between the pipes. Rodriguez Venegas says both have been playing awful tough. So the team, this team has no quit, and they will continue to battle and do their best, and if they continue to work hard, at some point things will hopefully the flip will script around, but or the flip will. The script will flip. Boy, English. Sometimes I like to speak it even. It's fun. So the script will flip around at some point in time, but it is going to be a tough road to hoe today versus this Forest Hills team. Forest Hills does have one player out. That is Zella Strepbrucker. So she is not on the game on the field today, but we've been told she's going to tune in, so we appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching and cheering on the team when you can't be here. I know it's no fun. You'd rather be here, but we appreciate you cheering on for wherever you are. Otherwise, Forest Hills, nobody else out. Like I said, I don't have the full schedule, but what I have for Forest Hills off of MHSAA.com is they beat Cransbrook Kingswood 9-6. They lost to Forest Hills Central 21-0. They beat very, very good East Grand Rapids team 14-7. I don't have the score versus. They beat Rockford. I know that much. That was 13-5, and I don't have the score versus Grand Rapids Catholic Central, but fairly solid season so far for the Forest Hills United team. We do want to thank all the wonderful sponsors, both last year's sponsors who helped support the team and didn't get a chance to have a season last year, as well as this year's sponsors. And so 2020 sponsors include Medical Physics Company, Planet Fitness, Werner and Shearbaum PLLC, Winsler's Gear. Silver sponsors include Bop Job Korean Restaurant, Dr. Mary Jo Sandberg DDS, Liberty Dental, Little Caesars Pizza, Reinhardt Realtor Michelle Stolmick, Reinhardt Realtor Sarah Adams, Ron's Garage, and Stadium Hardware. Bronze sponsors for 2020 includes Ann Arbor Dental Care, Clint Thorne and Kim Orthodontics, Demos Deli and Donuts, Dr. Mark Zahn Periodontist, Fraser's Pub, Holidays Restaurant, Lewis Jewelers, McNamara Orthodontics, Old Nation Bank, Linda Forrester, Real Estate One Agent, Stadium Market, and Weber's Restaurant. 2021 sponsors, platinum sponsors are Whitcomb Farms LLC and Storm Insurance Services. Gold sponsors are Edwards and Schaefer Orthodontics, Medical Physics Company, and Ron's Garage. Silver sponsors are Stadium Hardware, Little Caesars. Bronze sponsors are Bar Onnit and Associates PC, Bell's Diner, Lewis Jewelers, Steeper and Burst Orthodontics, Venegas Lawn Care, and the banner donor is Shaw Slevsky. So we want to thank all the folks who sponsor the Pioneer Women's Lacrosse. Thank you so very, very much for supporting the team, and thank you to all of you who help support the folks who support the team. We are very, very grateful. If we flip back over and take a look at the last game that we were able to be at for this team, that was versus East Grand Rapids. East Grand Rapids started with just an incredible scoring streak. They scored at 22:08, 17:22, 14:02 in the first, 12:53 in the first, 10:34 in the first, 9:15 in the first, and 7:52 at the first. At that point, Lee scored for Pioneer, that at the 6-minute mark, but then East Grand Rapids came back with a score at 1:48 and 1 second left. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9-1 at halftime. They opened up with a 3-goal run to start the second. That scoring was at 23-19, 22-26, and 19-43. At that point, Chen scored for Pioneer, that at 15-21. And then it was East Grand Rapids scoring at 14-14, 13-12, 8-47, 4-15, 2:39, and with 8 seconds left. So that was the last game. Pioneer hoping for get a bit more offensive traction in this game, maybe defense playing hard, so we'll see exactly what happens. But like I said, you know that Coach Magus' teams will always play very, very tough, and this is a good group of folks, just haven't seen it on the scoreboard yet. So let's play a few messages from the MHSAA, and we will be right back with first half action. We'll probably have the national anthem and lineups if they have that, and we'll be right back. You are watching Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You have to wonder sometimes how folks in the stands, so far removed from the action and who have probably never had any training, actually think they can see the play and apply the rules better than the officials assigned to a game. If you're that good, please register immediately at MHSAA.com. We need more officials on the playing surface and fewer in the stands. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
We have about a minute to 30 seconds counting down on the clock. They're working on stick checks right now. Just one more over on the Forest Hills side for the Huskies. About 3 more sticks over on the Pioneers side, getting everything ready to go here as just a few wispy clouds in the sky. Beautiful backdrop. Looking over at gorgeous stand of trees and flag blowing over to the side, so just a gentle breeze going from across from sideline to sideline on the field today. So we are very lucky to be out here and getting ready to broadcast this game for Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse. Thank you for cheering on the team wherever you are at, whichever team you root for. Thank you so much for helping support high school athletics. We are very, very grateful. So we're just about ready to get going. We'll play Push On one more time, and then we will get right to the pregame action. As the horn sounds here, Pioneers in their road black jerseys with the black tops, the black skirts, the numbers in white on the front and back, Ann Arbor in script across the front. And Forest Hills is in their white tops, black skirts, the numbers in blue on the front and back, and Forest Hills Northern across the top, the initials. There's 25 minutes up on the clock. As the public address announcer talking about sportsmanship and fair play, and we appreciate that. Good crowd here. A couple of folks in purple to our left. Some folks enjoying the weather down here for Forest Hills right in front of us. Everyone lined up. Doing a little stick work. Coach Magus doing a little stick work on the side, trying to get one of the crosses all together. And now to introduce the teams. So Pioneer. Bremer being announced as she runs out. Lila Harlock. 3 is Solden. Number 4 is Kinsey. Number 5 is Chen for Pioneer. Number 6 is Isabel German. Number 7 is Sarah McCready. Number 9 is Neil. Number 10 is Lee. Number 11 is Paulino, although she is not here. Number 12 is Denzen. Number 13 is Rodriguez Venegas for Pioneer. 14 is Millman. 15 is Marchand. Number 17 is Schuring. Number 18 is Paige McCready. Number 21 is Target. Number 23 is Katie German. Number 24 is Bowman. Number 33 is Gracie Harlock. That is your Pioneer team. Now for Forest Hills. 4 is Knee. Number 5 is Washburn. Number 7 is Abdallah. Number 8 is Messler. Number 11 is Gade. Number 12 is Davis. Number 13 is Scorziello. Number 15 is Bainbridge. Number 16 is Kozal. Number 18 is Almacian. Number 20 is Scipion. Number 21 is Whitlinger. Number 23 is Jan. Number 25 is Greiser. Number 36 is Lebo. 44 is Sluka. Number 46 is Dye. And number 47 is Weischerster. Joe Kukuru is head coach for Forest Hills. Caitlin Conway, assistant coach for Forest Hills. Zach Magus is a head coach for Pioneer. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, the playing of the national anthem. "25 minutes up on the clock as we are getting ready to go. Both teams gathered around their coaching staffs. Official game time temperature 57 degrees. It's Pioneer hopping up and down, getting ready to break the huddle. Forest Hills gathered up with their crosses up together. And both teams heading out onto the field. As Neal will start off between the pipes for Pioneer. She heads down to the crease to our left. Pioneer going from right to left in the first half. Kinsey in to take the draw for Pioneer. Lee to the left-hand side of the draw control circle. She is over there with Sluka. Right-hand side of the draw control circle is Katie German. Katie German is joined over there by Messler. And in for the draw, I believe that is Davis. As the ball's set between the crosses, there's the whistle. As that's popped up towards the Pioneer goal, raked up as the Huskies have it first. Coming down on the near wing is Sluka. Sluka stops just north of the goal line extended, moves it over to Davis. Davis moves over to Messler. Messler flips it over. That moved over to Davis. Davis working her way around the 12-meter fan. Davis on the far side. That moves back underneath the goal line extended. Underneath over to Sluka. Sluka comes over the goal line extended, tries to sneak her way out in front, spins, she's walled off. Sluka underneath the goal line extended, moves over to Davis. Davis sees even with the goal. Now Davis coming up on the numbers on the near side. Davis, that flipped out. Now back over to Davis. Davis working her way between inside the 8-meter arc. Davis gets right in front, shot. And a score. As we'll get the official on that, but Forest Hills gets the first score of that at 24:06. Trying to see exactly who that was. As that was
Northeastern goal, number 7, Chloe Abdallah.
As that was Abdallah. Davis on the assist. As that popped up high in the air, moves over on the near side as with it, Forest Hills flips it back over to Davis. Davis sends it between the hash marks. Messler has it. Messler working her way around the 12-meter arc. Messler coming down the hash marks on the far side. Messler still with it, goes underneath the goal line, extend it. That flipped directly back behind. That to Sluska. Sluska flips it. That over to Davis. Davis's shot. Neal got a piece of it. That run out by Messler. So Messler has it back in along the end line. As Forest Hills has possession. That moved over back behind. Trying to work her way above the goal line extended is Sluska. Sluska over to Davis. Davis heading, trying to get between the hash marks. That flipped back over. So whistle, it'll be a free position as Messler has it. Messler has it on the hash to the left of center. Coming in on the free position. Shot. Neal got the save. That comes over on the far side, raked up as Forest Hills has it. Coming out in front. Battle for it as Neal rolls it out. A group of people out in front trying to get to it. That rolls over as Messler has it back between the hash marks. Messler fires it over. Coming in Davis. Davis racing on the far hash mark. Shot. That just goes wide. Coming over, trying to keep it from going out of bounds, is Sluska. Sluska in along the near sideline on the near wing. That flipped over to Davis. Davis trying to get it out in front. Shot and a score. As that looks like it's number 7 again. So Abdallah with a score. And El Masson gets the assist. So 2-0. Forest Hills with the lead on Pioneer here. 22-17 left to go in the early going here in the first. Ready for the draw, it's Davis and Kinsey. Centered up on the picture of the Husky right at midfield. They get the ball between the crosses. There's a whistle as it's popped up on a bounce. Davis has it. It's Davis coming down the near wing into the attack zone. Davis has it for Forest Hills. Davis racing right in. Davis flips it over onto the far wing, trying to get to it. Gracie Harlock, that grabbed by Forest Hills. Now moved on the run. Messler has it. Messler on the numbers out on the far wing. Messler flips it over to Davis. Davis just outside the 12-meter fan. Davis moves it over on the far wing. As coming back, Messler has it. Messler coming down the far hash marks. Messler goes back underneath the goal line extended. Now flips, comes over the goal line extended, trying to roll it in. That one goes just wide. Over on the near side, raked up by Davis. Davis flips it, that out between the hash marks. As that's Almassian. Almassian moves it over on the far wing. Trying to get out in front. Now between the hash marks, that comes over to Davis on the near wing. Davis sends it back. That's to Sluska. Sluska back over to Davis. Davis switches positions. Davis trying to come out in front. Shot. Neal got a piece of it coming over on the far wing. Pulling out. That's Gade. Gade trying to get it out in front. Now heads back underneath the goal line extended. Flips it over to Sluska. Sluska comes out right in front. Shot. And that's grabbed by Gate. Gate had it back behind the goal. As whistle blown, that goes over to Pioneer. Lee with it. Lee moves it over. Neal with it. Neal looking for a place to go with it for Pioneer. 20-28 left to go. And flip back over. Isabel German. Isabel German coming down on the far wing. Isabel German gets over to Gracie Harlock. Gracie Harlock coming down the far sideline. That flipped ahead. Coming in, Lila Harlock moves it ahead. Coming down on the near side, Denzin. Denzin on that far wing, trying to flip it. Gracie Harlock trying to grab it. That pulled away. That is going to go over as Washburn has it for Forest Hills. Forest Hills coming down the far sideline. Washburn gets over midfield. Washburn coming down on that far sideline. Launches that on a hop. Jan trying to get to it. Popped up high in the air. Still battling. Grabbed by Washburn. Washburn heads underneath the goal line extended. Gets it over to Gade. Gade goes back behind the goal. Now Gade, even with the goal on the near side, over to Davis. Davis coming just outside the hash marks. Davis flips it over to Messler. Messler trying to work her way out in front as she's rebuffed. Comes out along the far sideline. Gracie Harlock watching her. That moved back behind the goal and flipped over to Sluska. Sluska, even with the goal on the near wing. Sluska flips it over to Davis. Davis moves it over to Messler. Messler sends it over on a hop, then picked up, back over to Davis. Davis on the far wing. Davis goes underneath the goal line, extended. Davis gets it over to Sluska. Sluska steps back. That knocked down, ground ball, trying to rake it up, coming away with it. Here comes Pioneer as that's Katie German with it. Katie German coming down the far sideline. Katie German launches it ahead. That picked up over midfield. Bowman with it. Bowman loses it, gets it back. Bowman into the attack zone. Bowman fires it. Isabel German trying to rake it up, battle for it. There's a whistle, and that's going to go over to East Grand Rapids. Another whistle. Or Forest Hills. Sorry. I just looked down at the wrong sheet of paper there. So Forest Hills had it. That goes back over to Pioneer. As Isabel German had it, that rolled all the way back out. Here comes Paige McCready on the near side. Paige McCready launches it back underneath. Sarah McCready has it underneath the goal line extended. That moved over to Bowman. Bowman directly behind the goal. Bowman comes over on the near side. Bowman trying to get out in front. She's walled off. Bowman loses it. Ground ball. As that ball is going to go on the dot back behind the goal line, extended on the near wing. Bowman with it. Bowman trying to send it out in front. That ball to the restraining line as Gracie Harlock trying to get to it. That will go over. Gracie Harlock with it just outside the attack zone. Waits for the whistle. Now Gracie Harlock running down the hash marks on the near side. Gracie Harlock flips it over. Isabel German, that off the tip of her cross, spinning with it, heading the other direction. Here comes Forest Hills as that's Gade. Gade flips it ahead over on that far wing, trying to get to it before it goes out of bounds as that is raked up by Abdallah. Abdallah coming on the far wing, launches that on a hop over to Gade. Gade between the hash marks, approaches the 12-meter fan. Gade moves it over. Here comes Davis. Davis flips it out in front to Sluska, who puts it in. Davis's second assist there. Sluska's first goal. That makes it 3-0. Forest Hills, that at 16.
By number 44, Alexis Luca. With an assist. From number 12, Elena Davis.
No, Bird Dog goes. Sluska from Davis. As Forest Hills United team called the Bird Dogs. It's getting ready for the draw. Sluska in to take the draw for Forest Hills. They get the crosses parallel. Kinsey for Pioneer. That pops up high in the air. Back behind, trying to rake it up. And Forest Hills has it. Coming down on the near side. Sluska with it. On the near wing, Sluska in the attack zone. Sluska trying to get between the hash marks. Flips that back to Messler. Messler moves it over to knee. Back to Messler. Messler coming down the hash marks on the far side. Messler loses the ball, but gets it before it goes out of bounds. 3-0 is the Forest Hills lead. 16:05 left to go in the first. That's flipped back behind to Sluska. Sluska trying to get it out in front, and that was put in as that was Dye putting it in.
Forest Hills Northern Eastern goal by number 46, Mia Dye. With an assist by number 44, Alexis Luca.
Sluka gets the assist. So Sluka on the assist, Dye on the goal for Forest Hills Northern Eastern. So they have the ball set. Kinsey for Pioneer as trying to rake that up. On the other side was Dye for Forest Hills. That is going to go over to Pioneer. Pioneer ball coming ahead. Merchant has it just outside of the restraining line, trying to get over to Bremer. Bremer trying to hold it in. That raked up by Forest Hills. Coming down on that far sideline underneath the goal line extended is Messler. Messler coming over on the near side. Messler firing it out in front. Knocked down by Neal. Ground ball on the near side. Katie German had it for a moment. Now Messler comes away with it for Forest Hills. Messler over to Sluka. Sluka working her way around the 12-meter fan. Got it to Neal. Neal back over to Messler. Messler races just inside. Firing it in. Messler scores. So it's a Bird Dog goal. That at 15:05.
Number 8, Maggie Messler.
5-0 lead for Forest Hills Northern Eastern. Pioneer calls the timeout. We'll take it with them. You are watching Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As we are live here on the campus of Forest Hills Northern, where it is the Forest Hills Northern Eastern Bird Dog lacrosse team in the lead 5-0 on your Pioneer women's varsity lacrosse team. Pioneer called a timeout, trying to get things going. So far, Forest Hills has been dominant at the draw. Going to the restraining line to the right is Bowman, Denzin, Isabel German, and Sarah McCready on the attack side for Pioneer. Kinsey in to take the draw for Pioneer. Dye on the other side for Forest Hills. Ball set up between the crosses right at midfield. As that popped up in the air, trying to rake it up on the near side as the Bird Dogs have it. Racing in is Whitlinger on that far wing. Whitlinger gets it over to Knee over on the near side. As that's over to Messler, back over to Knee. Messler has it between the hash marks, trying to work her way into the 12-meter arc. Now Messler goes back behind, moving it over to Sluka. Sluka just underneath the goal line, extended, firing it out in front. Shot. Neal got a piece of it, but coming away with it for the Bird Dogs is Knee. Knee comes outside the 12-meter fan. Knee on the far wing. Knee gets it over to Messler. Messler between the hash marks. It's Messler waiting. Paige McCready has to go back behind her. Messler trying to fire it out in front. The shot and the score. As that makes it 6-0. I believe that was again Dye putting it in.
Northern Eastern goal number 46, Mia Dye.
So 14:09, Dye. Dye gets her second goal of the game. Messler picks up another assist. Paige McCready on the draw for Pioneer. Looks like Dye again, I believe. Hard to see from right here. Popped up, said Sluka. On the draw, Pioneer wins it. On the near wing is Katie German. Katie German coming down the near sideline, trying to get around some defense, pulled away. Here comes Sluka. Sluka with it for the Bird Dogs. That fired pass on the ground. Still trying to rake it up. Coming away with it is Pioneer. Coming down, Paige McCready had it. That over to Kinsey. Kinsey comes over on the far wing. That flipped over to Denzin. Rolling ground ball into the far corner with it. That pulled up in that far corner by Forest Hills, coming down on that far sideline. Trying to make it in over midfield. Racing down with it is Washburn. Washburn moves it over. Messler gets it between the hash marks. Messler inside the attack zone. Moves it over to Knee on the far wing. Back over to Messler between that over to Scypian. Scypian moves it over to Sluka. Sluka back to Scypian. Between the hash marks over to Messler. Messler over to Knee on the far wing. Back to Messler between the hash marks. Now Messler coming down the far hash marks. Goes underneath the goal line extended. Messler moves it over. That to Sluka. Sluka right out in front as getting a piece of it. Whitlinger got it right out in front and firing it in. Neal got a piece of it. Excellent job by Neal. That coming on the near wing. Fired out in front as Scypian takes a shot. That knocked down. Pioneer coming away with it, coming down on the near sideline. Here comes Merchant. Merchant firing it ahead. Ground ball, trying to rake it up. Sarah McCready coming away with it. Going the other direction with it is Scorziello. Over to Sluka. Sluka over to Messler. Messler outside the 12-meter fan between the hash marks. Messler puts on some speed, trying to come on the far wing. Gracie Harlock watching her. That flipped over to Sluka. Sluka just underneath the goal line, extended on the near wing, firing it out in front. Shot and a score as that is Knee putting it in. So that's a Bird Dog goal. That at 11:58. Knee gets the goal. Sluka gets the assist. Bird Dogs ahead 7-0 here at the 11:58 mark. Paige McCready in to take the draw versus Dye. To get the ball set between them. As trying to rake it up. Paige McCready had it for a moment. Katie German racing for it. And that is raked up by Whitlinger. Whitlinger moves it over to Messler. Messler between the hash marks for the Bird Dogs. Forest Hills with possession. Messler goes over outside the hash marks on the far wing, trying to work her way inside the 8-meter arc. There was a whistle, I believe, before the goal went in. That should probably be a free position for the Bird Dogs. As on a bounce, that goes over to Messler. Messler is going to be on the first hash to the right of center. Messler coming in on the free position shot. Neal got a piece of it. Bremer trying to rake it up. Ground ball. Bremer has it coming down on the far sideline. Bremer feeds it ahead. That over to Katie German. Katie German runs on the far sideline. There's a whistle. Pioneer keeps the ball on that far sideline. Katie German ends up on the ground. She pops up as Dye has to go 5 yards back behind her. Although trying a right in front, Washburn trying to make it difficult for Katie German to launch it ahead. That over. Isabel German had it off the tip of her cross out of bounds. And Sluska tried to steal it away, and it popped off the tip of her cross back over to Pioneer. Katie German has it in along the near wing. Katie German trying to get around 3 defenders. Katie German comes over midfield. Katie German, that knocked away. And coming down on the near side, Dye fires it ahead. As on the bounce, picked up by Merchant. Merchant coming on the near sideline, spins with it, trying to get around Dye. That popped up over to Paige McCready. Paige McCready sends it back behind over to Lee. Lee coming down, launches it over midfield, gets it ahead to Kinsey. Kinsey into the attack zone. Kinsey coming down on that far sideline. Kinsey trying to wait for everyone else for Pioneer to get into the zone. Kinsey now centered up. Right outside the 12-meter fan, flips that over to Paige McCready. Paige McCready moves it. As over on the far side is Denzin. Denzin trying to get it out in front. Battle for it. Trying to rake it up is Bowman. Still launching. And that grabbed, raked up. As Greaser had it. Greiser sends ahead. That's stolen away by Pioneer. Denson with it. Denson Moves it over to Lee. Lee coming down on the near wing. Lee steps inside the 12-meter fan. Now comes out on this near wing. Denson flipping around, trying to get a little bit of room to work. Good defense by Forest Hills. Popped it up on a bounce. Sarah McCready has it. And along the end line, Sarah McCready goes right back behind the goal. Sarah McCready on the far wing flips that ahead. That to Isabel German. Isabel German has Scypian right in front of her watching it. Isabel German flips that out as trying to come ahead. Paige McCready had it, trying to fire it over to Bowman. The ball loose as the Bird Dogs trying to rake it up at 8:23. It is the Bird Dogs 7, Pioneer nothing. That's going to go over to Forest Hills. As bringing that ahead. Ground ball, trying to get it up. Isabel German brings it away on that far sideline. Isabel German fires it ahead. Sarah McCready on the near wing. Sarah McCready outside the numbers. Flips that over to Lee. Lee goes underneath the goal line extended. Lee on the near sideline. Moves that back behind to Bowman. Bowman directly behind the goal. Bowman coming over on the far wing. Now over on the near wing, trying to get in front. Bowman with a shot. That knocked down. As getting a piece of it was Greiser. Ground ball on the far side. Bird Dogs had it. Trying to rake it up with Sarah McCready. Knee was over there. Whistle. That's going to be Pioneer ball. With it on that far side. Flipped over. Here's Kinsey. Kinsey for Pioneer. That on a hop. Raking it up. Here comes the Bird Dogs with it on the near sideline. As that's Lebo with it. Lebo on the near sideline. That it's 7:08 again. Bird Dogs with the 7-0 lead on your Pioneer women's varsity lacrosse team. Forest Hills with possession. Lebo on the near sideline. They'll put Bowman back behind. That moved. Directly behind Washburn. Gets it over that to Greiser. Greiser back behind her goal. Moves it over on the near side. Now running down the numbers. Here comes Washburn. Washburn over the restraining line. Washburn still with it for the Bird Dogs. Washburn over midfield. That flipped over. Dye on the near wing. Dye comes between the hash marks. Dye flips that over. On the far wing, that's Knee. Knee goes back underneath the goal line. Extended knee. Fires it out in front. Shot. Neal got a piece of it. Coming away with it. Kinsey for Pioneer. Kinsey comes over on the far sideline. Kinsey launches it as that rolling. And on the far sideline, Denson had it. Denson. That picked up by Sarah McCready. Sarah McCready launches it over to Bowman. Bowman spins with it. Bowman out front. Shot that just goes high. Greiser got a piece of it. Closest to it was Pioneer. They ran it out. Bird Dogs with a 7-0 lead under the 6-minute mark left to go here in the first. As Bowman goes above the goal line extended, fires it. Greiser got a piece of it. Underneath, raking up is Scypian. Scypian for the Bird Dogs on the near wing. Scypian gets it. Isabel German trying to provide excellent defense, making it hard to get out of the zone. Scypian restarts, coming down on the hash marks, fires that ahead on a bounce, getting it Messler. Messler coming over the Husky logo. Messler into the attack zone. Messler comes on the far wing. Messler goes underneath the goal line extended. Messler now moves back behind the goal. Messler comes over on the near wing, goes above the goal line extended. Messler still with it, just outside the 8-meter arc now, flips it over to Sluska, even with the goal on the near side. Over to Davis. Davis moves it back to Messler. Messler comes between the hash marks about 2 yards north of the 12-meter fan. Now Messler comes over. all of a sudden, that flipped over, trying to make sure we're live, as all of a sudden things seem to flip away on us there. Just trying to make sure our broadcast is going. Is that ball on the far wing? Kinsey firing it ahead. Kinsey. On that far wing, trying to come in. Shot and a score for Pioneer. So I believe that was Bowman. Forgive me, trying to make sure and get things back up and going, as we had a brief moment where I got worried about our connectivity. But Pioneer cuts in. Pioneer gets their first score, that at 4:10. We will see exactly who got that, as I believe Kinsey on the goal.
In our Pioneer goal, number 24, Elena Bowman.
Or Bowman on the goal, as Bowman was right out in front. So Bowman cuts into the 4-goal run for the Bird Dogs. Kinsey comes in. So I saw the 4. That was definitely Bowman, 24. Set up for the draw. As that over on the near wing, Lee raking it up for Pioneer. Lee coming down on the near sideline over midfield. Lee comes back the other side midfield, trying to get a little room to work on a bounce. That's stolen away by the Bird Dogs, coming ahead, trying to get it over to Die. As that was Abdallah. Abdallah will get it back. She'll restart just inside of the 40, just outside of the attack zone for the Bird Dogs. Pioneer has now stopped the 7-goal run, as it is 7-1. Bird Dogs in the lead. That at 3:53. As Abdallah will have it, just waiting for the whistle. Abdallah coming down on the numbers. Fires it into the attack zone. That over to Davis. Davis on the near wing. Davis moves it back over. That over to Messler. Messler working away around the 12-meter fan. Messler on that far wing. Messler coming down underneath the goal line, extended. As Messler now coming up above the goal line, extended on the near side, trying to fire it out in front to Davis. Ground ball. Chen trying to rake it up now. Neal has it for Pioneer. Neal on a bounce. Flips it over on that far wing. Coming back behind is Chen. Chen on the near sideline, knocked away. That is going to stay Pioneer ball. Chen has it in the near corner. Or is that trying to come? Excuse me. I think that's Merchant. Merchant 15-10. That popped away, stolen away by Forest Hills. Flip Messler moves it over. That to Gate. Gate on the far wing. Gate sends it even with the goal. Now back behind. Directly back behind the goal. Flipping it out in front. Davis on the near wing. Davis gets it over to Messler. Messler trying to get inside the 8-meter arc. Messler with a shot. As that is run out by Forest Hills. As free position coming up. Shot and a score.
Forest Hills Northern goal, number 8, Maggie Messler.
Messler gets another goal. That adds 2-12. It is now 8-1 Forest Hills. Forest Hills Northern Eastern with the 8-1 lead. Kinsey now in to take the face-off. On the other side, Davis in to take the draw, KG German on the near wing. That popped up on a bounce. Kinsey has it coming down the far sideline. Kinsey into the attack zone. Kinsey Fires on that far wing over to Bowman. Bowman goes underneath the goal line extended. Bowman flips it directly behind that to Isabel German. Isabel German trying to make her way above the goal line extended. Isabel German now comes over onto, sends it back directly behind to Bowman. Bowman trying to work her way around the crease. Steps a couple steps to the left, now the right. Trying to find a place to go with it. Bowman back pedals. Comes over on the near wing. Bowman comes above the goal line extended. Fires it out in front to Sarah McCready. Knocked down. Good defense by the Bird Dogs. Is now Greiser. Has it. Directly back behind her goal. Greiser fires it over to Gade. Gade, that off the tip of her cross. Gade grabs it. Gade coming down on the near wing. Gade spinning with it. Bowman trying to make it so she can't. And Kinsey trying to make it sure she can't leave the zone. As Gade coming down on the near sideline. Gade launches it. That ground ball raked up by Denson. Denson heads the other way for Pioneer. Denson in the attack zone. Poked away on the far side. Grabbing it. As that was Scorziello. Scorziello with it on the far wing. Scorziello fires that off the tip of the cross. As that is raked up. Scherster flips that over. Coming down on that far wing is Almassian. Almassian on the far sideline. That fired ahead. Davis with it. Davis into the attack zone. Davis coming in. Davis goes underneath the goal line. Extended. Fires it out in front. That to Sluska. Sluska puts it in from Davis. That with 25 seconds. Sluka with her second goal. 25 seconds left to go. 9-1 is the lead by Forest Hills Northern Eastern. Looks like Davis again in to take the draw versus Kinsey. Lee, top of the draw, control circle. Kay German at the bottom. That bouncing up. Lee racing for it. Lee has it in along the far sideline. Lee has that tipped away. Trying to rake it up now. Here comes the Bird Dogs with it. The Bird Dogs into the attack zone. That moved over. Sluka with it out in front. Shot. Neal. So Abdallah gets the goal. Sluka on the assist. That with 7 seconds left to go. That makes it 10-1. Bird Dogs with the lead. Kinsey versus Davis for the draw. Ball popped up, ground ball, and coming over the restraining line. That is the end of the first half. At the end of the first half, it is the Bird Dogs 10. Pioneer 1 will step away, play a few messages from the MHSAA. Then we will be back with your second half action. Looks like it's going to be a quick 5-minute halftime. You're watching Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse, where they are battling Forest Hills. Forest Hills with the lead, 10-1.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted. Just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
So we are at halftime here at the Forest Hills Northern Campus, where it is your Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse team taking on Forest Hills Northern Eastern, the Bird Dogs. The Bird Dogs have the 10-1 lead. Taking a look at the scoring in the first half, it started off at 14:06 as it was Abdallah putting it in for the Bird Dogs. The assist was to Davis. Abdallah got her second goal, that at 22:17. The assist on that one was to Almasium. Then at 16:34, it was Sluka with the goal. And Davis with her second assist of the game. At 15:59, Dye scored for Forest Hills. Sluka got the assist. Then at 15:05, Messler got her first goal of the game for the Bird Dogs. Dye got her second goal of the game, that at 14:09, Messler with the assist. Then at 11:58, it was Nee scoring for Forest Hills. The assist was to Sluka. Pioneer scored at 4:10 as Bowman put it in. I believe there was a little bit of a out front. I believe indeed it was Bowman. Then it was at 2:12, Forest Hills answer back, as that was Messler putting in her second goal of the game. At 25 seconds left to go, Sluka got her second goal of the game. Assist to Davis. It's Davis's third assist. Then at 7 seconds left, Abdallah got her third goal of the game. She has a hat trick. Sluka got her third assist on that goal. And that's where we're at. Let's play push on and then come back with your second half action. As we have 25 minutes up on the clock getting ready for the second half, the Bird Dogs have the lead 10-1 on your Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse team. As Pioneer heads out, Neal heads down to the crease to our right. Pioneer going from right to left here in the second half. Again, we appreciate everyone joining us and cheering and supporting these teams. Thank you so very, very much. Greiser heads down to the between the pipes to our left. Kinsey in to take the face-off versus Sluka. Katie German at the bottom, as well as Almassian. On the right-hand side is Lee, joined by Gate. As the ball set, popped up, that over towards the Pioneer goal, raked up by Gate. Gate heading back, that flipped over to Davis. Davis coming down on the near side. Davis goes into the attack zone. Davis on the far wing. Davis flips it over. Gate has it in the far corner. Now Gate above the goal line extended. Gate trying to go out in front. Ground ball, rakes it up. Gate heads back outside the 8-meter arc. Flips that between the hash marks. Messler has it. Messler firing it over to Davis. Davis on that far side, right out in front. As that was Whitlinger on the shot. Neal got a piece of it. Flip back over. Even with the goal on that far side is Gate. Gate sends it all the way out to Messler. Messler between the hash marks. Messler firing it over. Excuse me, it was Davis on the far side. That over. Messler goes underneath the goal line extended. Flips it directly behind the goal. Trying to send it out in front. There's a whistle. As that is going to be a free position. As Sluka goes underneath the goal line extended on that dot on the far wing. Kinsey goes 5 yards back behind her. Lee, even with the goal in front. Then flip directly behind. Now trying to fire it out in front. Ground ball as that is raked up. Bird Dogs maintain possession. As that's over on the near wing. Launched, even with the goal on the near side. Gate has it. Gate moves it back behind to Sluka. Sluka underneath the goal line, extended on that far wing, over to Davis. Davis moves it over to Messler. Messler comes inside the 12-meter fan, working her way around the 8-meter arc. Now flips it over and getting it back. Coming on the near side, Messler underneath the goal line, extended. Messler, that over to Sluka. Sluka trying to fire it out in front. That tip stolen away by Merchant. Merchant coming down the far sideline. Merchant has that knocked away as the Bird Dogs have it on a bounce over to Gate. Gate trying to work her way in between, and that ball lost. That is going to go over to Pioneer. As Chen has it. Chen trying to make her way. That tipped away. Here comes the Bird Dogs trying to fire it out in front. Knocked around by Merchant. Neal has it in her crease. 22:04 left to go here in the second half. Moved over to Paige McCready on the far wing. 10-1 is the Bird Dog lead. Paige McCready triple teamed on that far wing. Flips it back over. Trying to make a move is Lee. Firing it ahead. Here comes Pioneer with it over midfield. Coming down between the hash marks. As that was Katie German with it. Katie German restarts. Coming down on the far hash marks. Katie German flips it. That over to Isabel German. Isabel German underneath the goal line extended on the near wing. Isabel German gets over the goal line extended. Just outside the hash marks. Isabel German flips that, trying to make her way. Kinsey works her way around the 12-meter fan. Kinsey on the hash marks, firing it out in front, trying to get to Katie German. That rolls all the way over. Isabel German has it in the far corner. Isabel German moves it directly behind to go Bowman. Bowman trying to work her way around the crease, comes to the far side. Bowman trying to flip it out in front. Ground ball that comes over the restraining line, trying to rake it up. Gracie Harlock had it for a moment. Still battling with it. Now coming on the far side, Paige McCready with it. Paige McCready moves that into the far corner for Bowman. Bowman underneath the goal line extended. That moved over to Isabel German on the near wing. Isabel German even with the goal on the near side. Isabel German now underneath the goal. Gets it over to Bowman. Bowman trying to work her way around the crease on the far wing. Comes directly back behind the goal. Now Bowman comes over on the near wing. Bowman trying to fire it out in front to Paige McCready, who puts it in. Number 18, Paige McCready on the score. That at 2017. Bowman on the assist. Yep, 18-24 on the assist.
Harbor Pioneer goal number 18, Paige McCready.
Pioneer cuts into the lead. It's now an 8-goal lead. 2017 left to go here in the second. 10-2. Forest Hills Northern Eastern. The Bird Dogs have the lead. The ball set for the draw. Popped up in the air. As that pulled away, Lee fires it ahead over to Bowman. Bowman coming down the near wing. Bowman into the attack zone. Bowman heads underneath the goal line, extended on the near wing. Bowman moves that over. Isabel German has it on the far wing, coming even with the goal. Now over the goal line, extended on that far wing. Work your way. Now flip back behind to Bowman. Bowman comes directly behind the goal. Now over to Katie German on the near wing. Katie German tries to work her way between the hash marks, coming around the 12-meter arc. There's a shot and a score. That was number 6, Isabel German, putting it in.
Pioneer goal number 6, Isabel German.
Pioneer has cut into lead. It's now a 7-goal game. Pioneer opening up with a 2-goal run to open up the second. They'd love to continue that. The Bird Dogs obviously looking to put the kibosh on that. Kinsey set up right at the Husky logo. Sluka on the other side. As that's popped up over, trying to rake it up. Sluka with it. Here comes the Bird Dogs over into the attack zone. Sluka on that far wing, being watched by Lee. That flipped back over. Messler has it. Messler between the hash marks. Messler moves it over on the near side. That to Gate, then gets it back. Messler coming over on the near wing. Messler goes underneath the goal line. Extended. Messler fires it over to Davis. Davis in that far corner. Davis. Excuse me, now that's Davis. That flipped over. As ground ball, Messler rakes it up on that far wing. Messler and Davis switch positions. Messler moves it over to Gade. Gade between the hash marks. Gade working her way around the 12-meter fan. Gade moves it directly behind. Now that launched over by Elmaslin. Davis over to Messler. Messler inside the 12-meter arc. Now outside the 12-meter fan. Over to Gade on the near wing. That flipped out in front. Shot. As that was Abdullah's shot. That just wide. The ball in the far corner. Sluka sends it over to Davis. Davis sends it over to Messler. Messler between the hash marks. Messler flips over to Gade on the near wing. Gade fires it underneath. That's Elmaslin. Back over to Sluka. Sluka just underneath the goal line extended. Sluka trying to come in. Shot. Neal got a piece of it. 18:02 left to go here in this. The second half. 10-3 is the Bird Dog lead. Free position. Sluka has it. On the hash just to the left of center on the 8-meter arc. Waiting for the whistle. Sluka comes in, shot. Neal got a piece of it. As as Al Maslin has it. Al Maslin sends it directly behind. That fired out in front, sidearm shot, and a score. I believe that was Davis on the score.
Forest Hills Northern Eastern goal. Number 12, Elena Davis. With the assist by number 44, Lexi Sluka.
Sluka on the assist, Davis on the goal. That breaks a 2-goal run by Pioneer, makes it 11-3. Bird Dogs with the lead. Sluka in to take the draw versus Kinsey. Nee and Bowman on the near side of the face-off circle. That popped up high in the air. Lee trying to get it for Pioneer. Ground ball. Nee comes away with it for the Bird Dogs. Nee coming down on the near wing. Nee over midfield. Nee firing that. That coming in with it is Dye. Dye comes between the hash marks just outside the 12-meter fan. Now Dye steps inside the fan, moves it over to Messler. Messler on the near wing, moves it over to Nee. Nee outside the hash marks on the near wing, back over to Messler. Messler between the hash marks. Messler right on the 12-meter fan, moves it over. Davis on that far side underneath the Sluka, out in front, over to Dye. Ground ball as that was deflected out in front. Trying to pull it away. That grab by Sluka. Sluka sends it over over to Nee. Nee working her way around the 8-meter arc. Nee now comes on the far side. And flipped over on the near wing. As that is Scypian. Scypian sends it right out, firing out in front. Shot, that just goes wide. Run out. Closest to it, Scypian. Scypian moves it directly behind. That flipped a little high, trying to rake it up. Battle for it. Nee had it for a second, still battling. That raked up by Messler on the near wing. Messler comes underneath the goal line, extended. Messler trying to fire it out in front. That goes all the way back to the restraining line. Sarah McCready has it on the far sideline for Pioneer. Sarah McCready stops just shy of the midfield stripe, gets it over. That to Isabel German. Isabel German sidearms it ahead. That into the attack zone. Here comes Denzin. Denzin inside the 8-meter arc. Denzin shot and about shot and scores. Denzin puts it in. Number 12 for Pioneer. No assist. That at 15:54.
Ann Arbor Pioneer goal, number 12, Ellie Denzin.
Pioneer brings it back to a 7-goal lead by the Bird Dogs. That at 15:54. So it is Forest Hills Northern Eastern 11, Pioneer 4. Kinsey in to take the draw for Pioneer. Trying to see who the Bird Dog is, but the official is right in front of him. As that goes over to the Bird Dogs. Sluka with it. Sluka coming down the hash marks into the attack zone on the far wing. Sluka now gets it over to Messler. Messler approaching just about 5 yards north of the 12-meter fan. Fires it over. Nee has it. Nee flipping it over. As that is trying to grab it over there is Scypian. Scypian firing it out in front. That knocked away. Racing. Sluka trying to grab it. That versus Kinsey. Kinsey comes away with it for Pioneer. Kinsey fires it over to Lee. Lee heads down. That fired over to Paige McCready. Paige McCready trying to make a move, trying to avoid some pressure. Paige McCready gets it over to Katie German. Katie German into the attack zone, coming down the numbers on the far side. Over to Bowman. Bowman goes underneath the goal line extended. Bowman moves it over. Isabel German on the near wing. Even with the goal, Isabel German back over to Bowman. Bowman directly behind the goal. Now Bowman battling. Washburn back behind. Bowman trying to get some room. Bowman Comes just underneath the near side. Sarah McCready with a shot. Bounce shot that just goes wide. Bowman closest to it. That stays Pioneer ball at 14:30 left to go. 11-4 is the Bird Dog lead. Bowman launches it over. That to Sarah McCready on the near wing. She rakes it back up. Sarah McCready outside the numbers on the near wing. That over to Katie German. Katie German just outside the 12-meter arc. That flipped over to Paige McCready. Paige McCready trying to work her way around the arc, trying to fire it in front. Good defense, getting in the way. Bird Dogs getting in the passing lane. That whistle, that'll go back over. That launched to Knee. Knee coming down on the numbers over midfield. Knee coming ahead for the Bird Dogs into the attack zone. Knee on the near wing. Knee holds up now, heads underneath the goal line extended. Knee underneath the goal line extended. And sends it over and Sluka. Sluka. Back over to Scypian. Scypian just outside the 12-meter arc over to Messler. Messler. Working her way around the arc, comes over on the near wing. Messler goes underneath the goal line, extended. Marchand was watching her. Marchand goes the other side of the goal to continue. Trying to fire it out in front, trying to get it to Whitlinger. Whitlinger had it. Now that into the crease picked up by Neal. Neal launches it, that over to Gracie Harlock. Gracie Harlock trying to get it on a hop. Ground ball. Gracie Harlock has it in along outside the numbers on the near side. Bouncing ball. Katie German trying to rake it up. She overran it just a little bit. Denson trying to get it. Sarah McCready had it, but that's going to go back over on a push over to the Bird Dogs. As coming around with that is Lebo. Lebo launches it, that on the near side ahead to Knee. Knee comes over midfield. Knee firing it, coming down is Jan. Jan on the near wing. Jan launches it back behind to Scypian. Scypian trying to fire it out in front. That knocked down. With it, here comes Pioneer. Paige McCready on the near sideline. Paige McCready spinning with it, trying to get some room, trying to get away from Dye. Ground ball. Lee rakes it up on the far wing. Lee has Sluka in front of her. Lee trying to get some room, sends it on a bounce. That raked up. Here comes Katie German. Katie German firing it over to Bremer. Bremer coming down the numbers, trying to get out of her own defensive zone. Knocked down as Jan had it for a moment. Now that's raked up by Katie German in along the near sideline. 12 minutes left to go here in the first half. 11-4 is the Forest Hills Northern Eastern lead. Katie German over Rome restraining line. Katie German trying to avoid pressure. Flips that back over. Marchand coming. Marchand moves down the far wing over to Lee. Lee outside the numbers. Over Rome restraining line. That fired on the other side of midfield. Ahead. Here comes Kinsey. Kinsey between the hash marks. Gets inside the 8-meter arc. Kinsey spins with it. Walled off. Kinsey looking for a place to go with it. Now on the near wing, gets it over to Bowman. Bowman just underneath the goal line extended. Bowman trying to work her way above the goal line extended. Now Bowman between the hash marks, steps outside the 12-meter arc, trying to feed it over to Paige McCready. That ball, ground ball lost, pulled away by the Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs have it. Knee in along the near sideline. Knee being watched by Denson. Knee looking for a place to go with it. Knee into the near corner. Knee flips that ahead. Knocked down out in front by Sarah McCready. Sarah McCready, little push from behind, loses the ball. She'll restart. And Sarah McCready in along the near sideline. As Knee will go 5 yards behind her on the infraction. Sarah McCready flips that ahead over to Katie German. Katie German working her way around the 12-meter fan over to Paige McCready. Paige McCready, that lost, popped up in the air. Katie German had it, still ground ball battling with it. Coming away with it, here comes the Bird Dogs. On the near sideline. Spinning with that, trying to get away is Scorziello. Scorziello, that tipped, and here comes Bowman with it. Bowman grabbed it before it went out of bounds. Bowman directly behind the goal for Pioneer. Bowman moves it out in front, that Paige McCready, and tipped away. But Paige McCready will restart. 9:51 left to go. Timeout called. We'll take it with them. You are watching Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Bird Dogs with the lead, 11-4 over your Pioneer Women's Varsity Lacrosse team. Pioneer opened up with a 2-goal run for the second half. Forest Hills answered back that at 17:45, but then the last goal, that at 15:54, was Denson for Pioneer. So Pioneer has 3 of the 4 goals in the second half, but Forest Hills Northern Eastern still has the 7-goal lead. Pioneer called timeout to retain possession. They're going to continue to battle this very, very, very good Bird Dog team. Paige McCready has it. 10 yards north of the goal line extended on the far wing, just on the hash marks. Right around the 10-yard line. Waiting for the whistle on the free position. Paige McCready cradling the ball. Steps back. And tipped away. Paige McCready gets it back, goes underneath the goal line extended. Paige McCready comes from the far side, directly behind the goal. Now on the near side, Paige McCready trying to get that over to Sarah McCready. Ground ball, that raked up. Here comes the Bird Dogs with it. Scypian with it. Scypian comes over her own restraining line. Scypian comes over midfield. Scypian coming down on the sideline. That into the attack zone. Scypian loses it, gets it back. Scypian now heads underneath the goal line extended. Scypian flips that over. Sluka with it. Sluka trying to fire it out in front. Ooh, and a pretty shot by Davis as she fired it back behind her head. Boy, there's nothing Neil could do about that one. That was just a pretty goal. Davis puts it in. That at 9-11. So Davis on a beautiful goal. Sluka gets the assist. That is Davis's second goal of the game. Davis has had 3 assists. So Davis has a hat trick of assists and 2 goals. Sluka in to take the draw for Forest Hills Northern Eastern. Knee on the left-hand side of the draw control circle, joined over there by Katie German. They get the ball set between the crosses. 9 minutes, 11 seconds left to go here in the second. It's now back to an 8-goal lead for Forest Hills. Northern Eastern, Kinsey has it over the midfield stripe. Kinsey coming down the numbers on the far wing in the attack zone. Kinsey moves that over to Denson. Denson outside the hash marks on the near side, trying to get it over to Bowman. And that went in, tipped. I would think Kinsey probably got that.
Pioneer goal number 12, Ellie Denson.
Denson from Kinsey. That at 8:53. Kinsey in to take the draw. Popped up by pulling away. Here comes Katie German. Katie German fires that ahead. So it is now 12-5, 7-goal lead by the Bird Dogs. Bowman gets it back over to German. German rakes it up just inside the attack zone. German. Katie German comes between the hash marks. Katie German on the far wing. Katie German flips that directly behind. That moved over to Bowman. Bowman behind the goal, getting it over to Denson. Denson. That deflected. Sarah McCready picks it up on the far wing. Sarah McCready flips that over to Isabel German. Isabel German coming in along the end line from the far side to the near side. Isabel German directly behind the goal, now coming over the goal line extended on that far wing. That fired back over to Denson. Denson outside the 12-meter fan on that far wing. Denson lobs it over to Kinsey. Kinsey working her way, spinning between the hash marks. Kinsey. Good lockdown coverage out there by Scorziello. Flipped over. Paige McCready has it on the near wing, on the near hash marks. Paige McCready working her way around the 12-meter fan. Paige McCready steps back, comes over on the near side. That raked up by Katie German. Katie German on the near wing. 7:20 left to go. 12-5 is the Bird Dog lead. Katie German has it on the far wing. Gade comes out to watch her. That move back to Bowman underneath the goal line extended. Bowman trying to fire it out in front. Shot and a score. Kinsey puts it in. Bowman on the assist.
And our Pioneer goal number 4, Lizzie Kinsey.
It's now a 6-goal lead. 6-goal lead by the Bird Dogs. 5 of Pioneer's 6 goals has come in the second half. 2 goals by Forest Hills, Northern Eastern in this second half. 7:05 left to go. Ball set, ready for the draw. Right at midfield. Popped up. That bounces towards the Pioneer goal. Raked up. Coming down with it, Davis on the far wing. Davis for the Bird Dogs has it. About 10 yards north of the goal line extended. That flip back to Messler. Messler over to Knee. Knee on the near sideline. Knee flips that directly behind. Trying to fire that out in front, and a whistle as they got it over to Davis. Davis will have a free position. That on that first hash on the left-hand side. Davis comes in, rolls it in. Davis with an underhand shot. And it is back now to a 7-goal lead. I know basic math. I now have to use my toes to count too. So we're over 10. But 13-6 is the lead. 7-goal lead by the Bird Dogs. As as Davis now has a hat trick, and all of those goals coming in the second half. She had 3 assists in the first half. Davis, 3 goals in the second half. The ball set. Kinsey versus Sluka. That popped up. Kinsey has it. Kinsey over midfield on a bounce. Kinsey coming down on the hash marks into the attack zone. Kinsey moves that over to Bowman. Bowman comes down underneath the goal line extended. That moved over to Isabel German. Isabel German trying to work her way above the goal line extended on the far wing. Isabel German being watched over there by Gade. Isabel German still with it. Now trying to come between the hash marks. Isabel German working her way just north of the 12-meter fan. Gets it over to Denzen. Denzen on the near sideline. Denzen. That tipped away. Scypian got a piece of that pass. And that is going to be Knee with it. Knee for the Bird Dogs coming on the near sideline. Knee goes over own restraining line. Knee coming over. That over midfield. Knee firing that ahead. Gade with it. Gade on the near sideline. Whistle. Gade will restart just outside of the... that goes over to Pioneer. Katie German with it. Katie German flips that ahead to Isabel German. Isabel German coming down the near sideline into the attack zone. Isabel German switches shoulders, trying to get a little bit of room to work. Isabel German working against Scypian. There is a whistle. Isabel German pops up to the ground. Scypian offering to checking on her, making sure everything's cool. Isabel German moves that over. That to Katie German. Katie German moves between the hash marks, just outside the 12-meter fan, being watched by Knee. Katie German now sidesteps, coming down on the far hash marks. Katie German goes, even with the goal, flips it over to Bowman. Bowman just underneath the goal line, extended on the near wing, now comes over to the far wing. Switches, flips the shoulder, flips it out in front, trying to get it to Sarah McCready. That rolls all the way back out. Paige McCready gets it between the hash marks. Paige McCready firing it. That over to Sarah McCready. Whistle, free position for Sarah McCready. She'll be on that second hash to the right of center on that far wing. Here comes Sarah McCready. She steps back, looking for a place to go, gets it over. That to Katie German. Katie German steps up just outside the 12-meter fan, now coming inside, trying to get to the 8-meter arc. Katie German walled off, flips it out in front to Isabel German, who puts it in. So Isabel German from Katie German. As that was at 3:53. Underneath 4 minutes to go, Pioneer gets it back to a 6-goal game. Lots of life on Pioneer here in the second half. Love to see it, especially against a very, very good opponent like the Bird Dogs. Kinsian, I believe that was Sluka on the other side. Katie German on the left-hand side of the draw control circle. That with Knee. Davis on the right-hand side with Lee for Pioneer. Ball set, popped up as Davis gets it. Davis for the Bird Dogs heads into the attack zone, coming down on that far wing. Lee chasing her. Davis comes in, goes underneath the goal line extended, now on that far wing. Davis waiting for the rest of the team to catch up. Flips that over to Messler. Messler has it between the hash marks. Messler right on the 12-meter fan. Moves over to Gate, then gets it back. Messler coming on the near wing. Messler goes underneath the goal line extended now. Messler comes from the near side to the far side. Messler, even with the goal on that far side, Messler steps back, flips that over to Davis. Davis skies it over to Gade. Gade has it just outside the 12-meter fan. Over to Knee on the near wing. Knee flips that right back over. Working away on the near wing is Messler. Messler goes underneath the goal line extended. That moved back over to Sluka. Sluka firing it out in front. Ground ball. Trying to rake it up as that is Abdallah with it on the far wing. Flip back over to Messler. Messler Moves it over to Gay down the near wing. 2:41 left to go. 13-7 is the Bird Dog lead. Free position for the Bird Dogs. Paige McCready goes 5 yards back behind. Messler now gets a little room to work. Moves over to Davis on the far wing. Davis over that to Sluka. Sluka trying to get it out in front. Oh, that just goes wide. Raking it back up. Knee back behind the goal. Knee trying to fire it out in front. Sluka with the shot. Davis a piece of it. 2:06 left to go. Pioneer down by 6. But 6 of their 7 goals has come in the second half. Lee got it over to Neal. Neal fires it over on the far wing as that into the crease. Neal will have it for Pioneer. 1 minute, 45 seconds left to go. Neal launches that ahead over to Isabel German. Isabel German on the roll. That fired ahead. Katie German over midfield. Katie German into the attack zone. Katie German goes underneath the goal line extended. Katie German directly back behind the goal. 1 minute, 22 seconds left to go. 13-7 is the Bird Dog lead. Katie German moves over to Bowman. Bowman directly behind the goal. Bowman trying to fire it out in front. That knocked down. Good defense by the Bird Dogs. As that was Al Maslin. But that launched all the way down. 59 seconds left to go. Davis has it in along the far sideline. Over midfield. Into the attack zone. That moved over to Sluka. Sluka trying to get it over to Messler. Messler coming down. Shot and a score by Messler. Forest Hills answers back. Messler with Messler with the goal at 41 seconds left to go. That makes it a 7-goal lead. Next game for Pioneer, by the way, is going to be versus Saline. That will be on the 3rd 6 p.m. game, that at Hallway Field. The next game after that is going to be on the 5th home game versus Bedford, and then on the 7th will be the senior celebration versus Marion. So that's the next 3 games coming up. Taking a look at Forest Hills. Their next game is going to be versus Forest Hills Central, that on the 5th. Then they play at Brighton, and then they host Detroit Country Day. Popped up high in the air on the draw. As coming down on the near wing, here comes Pioneer. Kinsey fires it ahead, raked up by Bowman. Bowman underneath the goal line extended, 26 seconds left. And fired over off the tip of Isabel German's cross. Trying to race over. Sarah McCready trying to keep it from going out of bounds. Sarah McCready has it. 15 seconds left. Pioneer down by 7. But they really had a much improved showing on this second half. Out in front for Kinsey. Kinsey puts it in. Kinsey fed out in front. I believe that was Sarah McCready, but we'll get the officials. That at 8 seconds left. Eight seconds left to go. Pioneer gets it down to a 6-goal lead. Again, good showing by Pioneer. Way to really have a tough first half, but not let it get to him and really battle hard. Bringing it over. Here comes the Bird Dogs coming ahead with it. Sluka trying to get in, and that is the end of the game. So 14-8 is the win by Forest Hills Northern Eastern. As we said, they have a game versus Forest Hills Central coming up. Pioneer will be in action versus Saline. Thank you for joining us and cheering on these teams. We greatly appreciate you supporting these athletes wherever you are at. Thank you so very, very much. For my camera person, Christina Wiseman, my name is Mark Wiseman. Thank you very much. We'll be back with, we'll figure out exactly what game we're doing on Monday tomorrow, and we'll be back. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.